Now here's a quick funny one about a gal, a self-proclaimed feminist, who is pretty PO'd because on her dating app, her dating profile, she, for the first time, put on it that she's an feminist, doesn't want to have kids, doesn't want to get married, and to lo and behold, no guys are suddenly interested in her. Previously, she'd get hit up all the time, because I guess she's good looking enough. Now it's crickets. No guys are interested, and she's definitely PO'd that guys are such jerks and that feminism turns them off and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what do you expect? Guys don't want to deal with that because they know what they're going to be dealing with nowadays. Title: For the first time, I made it known in my dating profile that I'm an feminist. I haven't received one hint of interest from anyone. Gee, shocker. She says here, I don't usually highlight my passion for women's rights, but my exhaustion with the state of the world has pushed me to be upfront as possible because I want to date someone who also believes a woman deserves better. Well, I will give credit where credit is due. At least she's making it known in the dating profile, so she's not wasting any guy's time, and they're going to know, and they can know upfront what they're going to be dealing with. I'll give her that. But guess what? Guys don't want the drama that usually goes along with gals like this, and the drama does go along with them. She says, furthermore, it has become my own personal belief that nothing will truly start changing for us until we date men who listen to us, ask questions, and who commit to being part of the solution instead of brushing off our misfortunes and painful experiences. There are lots of guys out there that are all for true equality, not their definition of equality, but a reasonable definition of equality, and care about their girls and treat them well and all that. Believe me, the problem is these types think that unless the guys are willing to go on marches every weekend and are a crusader and let her run the relationship, then they're part of the problem. It's ridiculous. Normally on my profiles, I get countless messages and men making passes at me in hopes of getting my attention. This time I've had none. Nothing. It's been 3 days since creating the profile. Gee, I wonder why. I should also be fair in saying I added that I do not want kids or marriage. In all honesty, aside from the age factor, being in my 30s, where some men do have kids, I didn't think this was something to worry about. Usually the men are the first to claim how they're uncertain on whether they want a family, unsure of their dating goals, and how they just want to take it slow. So, okay, her saying she doesn't want kids or marriage, there are guys out there that do want that, so they're going to say, okay, next, fine. But it really boils down to the feminist thing. This is angering for a few reasons. I knew we were going to get anger sooner or later. And not the ones you might expect. I don't care that I'm not getting the attention that I normally do. Bullshit. All gals thrive on attention validation, whether they're little girls or they're old ladies, and even feminists. Lack of interest this time around was anticipated, and I can live without reading "Hey Beautiful" multiple times a day. Well, I'm sure that infuriated her. What has set me off is the reason I'm seemingly being avoided, because we all know the F word sends men running. She says, what is so wrong with being a feminist? What is so wrong with standing up for women's rights? And what is wrong with a woman not wanting to marry and have kids? Even amongst my own male friends who hit on me, there is such disconnect with real-world issues involving women. Okay, well, I'll answer her questions. I'll address that right now. Because nowadays, in the 2020s, men know that absolutely by and large, the gals that are self-proclaimed feminists and all that are very unpleasant to be around. It's always going to be a struggle. It's always going to be drama and conflict in relationships. I know this because I had 2 buddies back in the day that dated gals just like this. And it was a constant battle with them. Keeping track of who did what in the relationship, her wanting to do everything he can do, her wanting him to take on the female roles, always debating and arguing about politics. The list goes on and on. And men don't want that. They want an easy relationship, not a constant political struggle, which it is. Not to mention the fact that these gals typically are more masculine, and the guys find it emasculating and all that. They want a traditional, soft, nurturing, loving, sweet type of gal. And it has been my experience that these feminist types are anything but that. Okay? And that's just not what they want. Also, guys want to be on a date or a relationship with a gal. They don't want to be with like another dude. And these gals that are very masculine, which traditionally feminists are in varying degrees, That's a turn-off to them, both physically and also in terms of how they deal with her. So this is why guys are immediately repelled by this, because they know the odds are very strong what they're dealing with. And just because a guy doesn't want to be constantly talking about politics and debating this and this, or going to women's marches and crusading for this type of thing, doesn't make him some big jerk that doesn't care. Because a lot of guys I know, they have daughters and mothers and sisters. All guys have daughters, mothers, and sisters, or whatever, some woman they care about, and they of course don't want them harmed. But nowadays, it's like these types also have to find issue with everything, and it's just exhausting. And the guys I knew that had relationships with gals like this, it was a constant struggle until the guys, ended it with them. But of course, both girls thought that they were the problem. The guy was the problem, not them. So this is why. Anyway, she says, I'm beautiful, funny, and smart, but none of these things matter when I'm an effeminist. Well, they also probably think at some point you're going to buzz your head and get tattoos in your forearms and you start wearing combat boots or Converses. A lot of these girls have Converse shoes. And that, because they don't want to deal with it. Honestly, though, I've resigned to the possibility of ending up alone in life because it just feels like the better option at this point. I'm not sad about it either. Oh, come on. You wouldn't be writing this if you didn't take issue with this. You're not fooling anybody, honey. Ooh, I called her honey. I'd rather be transparent about my values rather than going into something where I pretend to be something I'm not passionate about, and B, have to constantly be the educator. Listen, B, constantly be the educator in a relationship because he can't be bothered to show empathy or learn why I need him on my side. That's the thing. I'm sure the guy would be on your side, but there's degrees. Again, he's not the bad guy if he doesn't want to spend all his time talking about politics or being in a giant crusade, for goodness sake. And I'm glad she's at least being upfront about this. I'll give her credit there, but this is what you're going to get. All around, we just live in some shitty times. That being said, I don't believe men are horrible. There are some amazing guys out there who are nice, respectful, and reliable. But nice, respectful, and reliable just isn't enough for me. Y'all, I need a man to join me in fighting the good fight. So even guys that are good guys, reliable, nice, respectful, all that they claim they want, still isn't good enough because she wants a fellow crusader. Well, you might as well go out to California and find a guy with a man bun on and all that, because other than that, and I guarantee the type of guy that she claims she wants, because remember, they say one thing but are attracted to another, the type of guy she claims she wants she'd be turned off by that. So there's no making her happy. But this is why guys immediately are repelled by this, because they know right there, nice, reliable, respectable isn't enough. She wants a fellow crusader. And whatever set her off on this thing, a lot of times these gals, I've read articles about women that were this passionate, if you will, when they were younger, and then they got older in their 40s and 50s and realized they wasted all this time and realized that the world isn't as horrible as they made out to be. But these young gals that are young, impressionable, and don't have a lot of responsibilities get so wrapped into all this by people that can easily manipulate them to get really worked up and angry, typically in colleges and these women's studies courses and everything. And overnight they become just these crusaders, and they think anybody that isn't along just like them lose their minds. There are a lot of guys out there that definitely care about women and don't want them to be mistreated and all that, but they're not going to be crusaders and going out there with pitchforks and everything and torches and pitchforks and going to marches and all that stuff, because that's not them. And they don't want drama in their lives. So this is what you get. So unless you're willing to wake up and realize that not all guys are terrible, even though she claims they're not, and guess what, just because he's not crusading with you doesn't make that he doesn't care, and realize that there's nothing wrong with being feminine and all that, you're going to have problems. But if she says she doesn't care, okay. But then again, she's the one writing this whole thing, so obviously she cares about something.